What's up, guys? It's Missy. I am back and I'm doing a video about Amazon. What it's like to really work for Amazon. Okay, so I had seen a thing on Facebook where people were talking about what it's like to work for Amazon and how the drivers pee into bottles and all this stuff. Amazon is the worst job I've ever had. Let me just start with that. Okay, so they make it out to be this really great thing, and let me tell you, it is hell on earth. You couldn't pay me enough to do it. Okay, like straight the fuck up. Now, when I had first come across the ad, it was like, oh, make 15 an hour, company vehicle, company phone, obviously gas card, overtime is basically an option, that kind of thing, paid training, all that good shit. And so I'm thinking, oh, well, I'm not going to get hired, that kind of thing. So I put in an application for it, and immediately they're like, oh, can you come in for an interview? And so I'm thinking it's going to be more like a legitimate interview. And so they tell me to come into the main warehouse here, and I'm in Washington State, so I went to the Everett one. Now, this was right before COVID was a issue. And so they're like, well, come to our main warehouse. And so I drive out there, and I go into this warehouse, and I see all these little booths, that have like these 3-digit letters on them, like one of them was Tamil, one of them was I can't even remember the names of them, but anyways, the point is they were like 3 digits, like J something or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, which one do I go to? And I knew that because I had applied to like 3 or 4 of them. There was like 3 or 4 different ads for it. And so they're like, okay, well, your interview is with the BF whatever one. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I go to that booth, and she's like, okay, come sit down at this lunch table. And so we go into this lunchroom, and she gives me a company email. And she's like, go ahead and fill out this application. And I'm like, okay, well, I do have a minor, very, very minor misdemeanor from back when I was 18 for assault. And she's like, oh, that shouldn't be a problem if it's been over 7 years. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so she's like, you'll just wait a couple of days. We'll give you a paper, and you're going to go to a doctor's office, and you're going to do your analysis. And if it comes back that, you're clean, then you're all good. And I'm like, okay, what do you test for? Because I do take medication for endometriosis. I'm on pain meds. And she's like, okay, that's not going to be an issue. We only test for like marijuana, the other, like cocaine, meth, whatever. So if you're wondering and you take like narcotic prescriptions or whatever, that's not part of their test. A lot of people ask that. So I go in, and you have to get it done within a certain amount of days, right? So before you can start training, you're supposed to have your analysis done. Then you have to wait for the background check to get approved. Once the company does the background check approval, you're hired. So it's not like, it's, oh, did I or did I not get the job? They pretty much hire you. Like, if you're, basically, if you have a clean driving record, roughly, like, you can have tickets, of course. But as long as you don't have any, like, collisions, and you haven't had any major charges within 7 years, and you can pee clean, they will hire you. Like, they hire pretty much anybody that comes through the door. So once you get hired, I ended up not going with that company because it took longer for their background check, because I had an interview with the company across from them the next day. Their background check came in faster. So I actually did some reviews, and I was unaware that all of these companies were like working under the same facility, and so when I had my interview with the next one the next day, I noticed the address was the same. And that's when I caught on. I'm like, okay, so you go into this warehouse and there's all these different booths, and they're all the same building, but they're all completely different companies. And so I'm starting to think like, well, what's the difference between this one and that one? Like, is the pay different? You know, is the treatment different? And so I kind of started, you know, like going up to each booth and being like, they're all hiring, you know, like what's the difference? And the girl that worked at the one that I had interviewed with first, she didn't really come off as that great. Like, she was kind of a bitch. And so the one at Temmel was actually like nice. And so I put my application in there, and I had explained to them that I had already applied to the one across from them. And so she's like, okay, well, we'll put your stuff in. And their background check came back almost immediately, like within a couple of days. So I went in, I did the UA, I passed the UA, and then they're like, okay, well, when can you come in for training? And I'm like, well, I can come in whenever. So they have you scheduled for training. Now, the training is 2 days. So what'll happen is you're going to go in and you're going to, now I don't know what they're doing now because of COVID, but when I was doing the training, you went in and you had to sit through this class. So you go in, and the lady that was instructing it here at the Everett office, she is a major B word. Like, she is really rude to people. And you sit, it was like, okay, so like you sit in a room with like one big table, right? And they jam in everybody, and you're all from a different company. So they train you all the same, right? So some people were like, oh, I work with this one. Oh, I work with that one, you know. And what happens is the first day you write your name on like a little plaque thing so that everybody knows who you are. And you watch these videos, right? And you talk, and they tell you like, okay, you're going to be, when you're out there, you're not allowed to do this and you're not allowed to do that. And they tell you the rules, right? Well, the rules are ridiculous. Let me start with that, okay? So a lot of you guys may notice that Amazon drivers, when they drop off at your house, they're always in a really big hurry. That is because they're extremely overworked. Like, bad. So one of the major complaints from the employees is that they are, basically the turnover rate is like 70%. So 70% of people, at least that's what my instructor told me, was that about 70% of you will quit within the first 2 weeks. Now, a lot of people are like, not me, I'm tough, you know? And I thought, well, how bad can it be? You're just driving around delivering packages, right? It seems so simple. Drive, pull up, put a package on the door, take a picture, go about your day. Oh boy, was I wrong. Okay? Let me start off by saying, holy shit, it is nothing like that. So the training was tedious enough. You had to sit there it was like 8 hours. Okay? It was freaking ridiculous. And it was all stupid shit. Like, oh, when you're driving and you're going down the road and it's snowing, how do you hit your brakes? That kind of stupid shit. So then you basically, they give you a tablet and you watch videos and you answer questions. And you have to make all these stupid accounts and do all these weird, like, you have to make a driving account because they monitor your driving and how your driving is. And so then they have you come in for your second day of training. And your second day of training is they kind of bring you around the warehouse and they show you like, okay, this is where you're going to load your van and this is how you're going to stack your van. So they have a certain method in which they use to stack the bins, right? So you have your oversized packages and then you have these color-coded bins. So what happens is when you first pull into the warehouse, you have to pack your own van. And it's really annoying, but I'm going to get to that. So anyways, after they teach you how to kind of pack up the van, then they have you, they show you around the warehouse, they show you where the free aspirin is. You have like a vending machine where you can get non-narcotic painkillers and waters and things like that, because you're going to be sore, right? And everybody's kind of like chuckling, like, oh, it's not going to be that bad, and blah, blah, blah. And so the first day, okay, so then they started doing this driving test because so many people were causing damages to the vans, right? So what they do is they have you come out to a parking lot and they have you drive around in a circle around the parking lot. They have you back the van up. They have you back up around a corner, see how close you can get to a curb, that kind of thing. Well, the vans have backup cameras, so they teach you how to work the backup cameras, and they'll pretty much, again, they'll hire you no matter what. So they have a major problem with people, because they hire people no matter what. They have a lot of idiots that work there. They are constantly putting gasoline in the diesels or diesels in the gasoline vans, because you don't have your own assigned van. You just get a random one every day. And so they're like super cracking down on people for that. So everybody has to log into a driving tracker app. And this tracker app, it tracks pretty much your every movement when you're in the van. So I passed my driving test with flying colors, and then they're like, okay, you're going to start your first day is your nursery route. You have a trainer with you. So what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to drive part of the day and then deliver packages. Like, you do both things. Like, you drive for a little bit and that person delivers packages, and then vice versa. My first trainer, she would not allow me to drive at all because she has this pet peeve. Like, she's got issues. She ended up getting in big trouble for it. So I ended up having to have a second day ride along where I actually did the driving and the delivering. This is a nursery route. The nursery route has like 175 stops, 200 stops, which you would think is no big deal, but it really is. Okay, 200 stops is a lot, and that's the nursery route. Okay, then they have you do I can't remember what it's called, but it's where you basically save somebody because they couldn't finish their route. And so I'm like, okay, then they just throw you out into the field. Like, there you go, enjoy, right? Well, let's start off with how ridiculous this is. First, the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to drive to it's kind of like a bus barn, if you will, right? You drive there, and your DSP is going to meet you there. It's a person that has like a little van that they pull up in, which is separate from where the Amazon warehouse is. All of your coworkers and you meet up in this freezing cold parking lot in the morning. They open up the van. They have all of these little they're like Ziplocs, they're little purses that have a company phone and the keys and the magnet that goes to the front of your van. You put it on the front. So what you do is you grab your pouch and you go to your van, the one that has been assigned to you, find it in the parking lot, and you have to go around the exterior of the van with the company phone that they provide, obviously, each day, so it's not the same phone as the day before, and you log into your application. And once you log into your app, you have to go through a series of things where you have to go around the inside and outside of the van, and you have to photograph any damages that are on the van. So anything at all, even if it's a ding or whatever. And once you've done that, then you get into the van and you have to do the inside as well to make sure that if anything happens, because you're going to have to do it again at the end of the day. So if there was any damages you didn't report, you could be held liable, right? So you do that, you start the van up, and you log into your driving tracking app. Now this application, the van counts the clicks for your seatbelt. So if they find out that you are not buckling up, it will go against your app. So like a lot of people, to save time, they were buckling behind themselves and just leaving it buckled because they figured that would be enough, right? Well, the van counts the clicks, so you can't do that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you get dinged for touching the radio. That's what my instructor told me. So like if you're driving, if the car is in drive and you touch the radio, it'll ding you. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. But I never noticed anything going against my driving app when that actually occurs. So I don't think that one's true. But they claim that it is. Now, you can be on your personal phone, well, in the van or when the car is driving or whatever. Now, what's stupid is if you're on the phone and you're driving, it's a problem, right? So it'll mark against you according to them. Well, the problem is they have the navigation system in which they use. So like what happens is you drive your van to the warehouse, which isn't but like a mile away from the place, and you have all these rows, right? And basically you get a number for the row that you belong in. And then your company lines up, and if you're van number 1, 2, or 3, you get in your row. So like if you're late, it's a problem. It's a major problem because now everything's out of whack. You're not in the right order. So if like you're car number 3 and you become in car number 4's spot, you're going to get car number 3's packages. So you can't do that, right? So you got to make sure that you're on time and that you're paying attention and that you're in the right lane, which can be really stressful when you don't know where to go and what you're doing and you're driving something super big, and it's stressful. So you get into your lane, you have your magnet on the front of your car that indicates, which company you work for and which car you're supposed to be. And so then you drive into the warehouse, right? And you have a very short amount of time to pack your van and get the hell out. Okay, so you drive into the warehouse and you pull up, and there's this big cart, normally 2 carts full of packages that are just sitting there waiting for you. So what you have to do is you have to get your phone out and you have to scan the boxes, okay? And so you scan all of these huge crates and you lift them up and you have to put them into the van. Then once you get all these big ass crates stacked up, and they have to be in a specific order, so you have to, you want to be able to find your packages relatively quickly, right? So you pack all that. Then you get to your oversize. The oversize are the ones that are not in the pouches or the big boxes. They're just individual boxes. And so you have to organize them, like they say, like A4.2B whatever. And so you're going to go A 4.0, and you're just going to put them all in a specific order, right? Which can kind of be a pain in the ass as well. So you get all of these packages put in the back of the van, and everybody stacks their van differently, right? So you got to get in and out of there pretty quickly. You can't leave until the guy ahead of you is done. So like if you're taking forever, nobody can get out. It's one at a time. Like you can't just go around the person, right? So as you're leaving the warehouse, you have to have your windows down. You have to have your car off while you're packing the van. You start the van. You have to honk, a certain amount of times. You have to honk when you leave. If you don't, they will flip the frick out. You know what I mean? As they should, because of a safety concern. And so you packed up your van. You're ready to go. Right? So you're leaving and you start your route. That's when you look at your itinerary on this phone and you can see like, okay, this is where I'm going to be at a majority of the day, right? Well, when you look at the application and the map, it says like, okay, your stop is here and your next stop is over there. But the way that the phone has it set up is you're going back and forth. And so if you look at it, you can change it to where it's like, let's say that you have a house across the street, but they want you to go all the way around the neighborhood and then come back to this house. You could have done it while you were right here across the street, but you didn't know about it, right? Because you're doing one at a time. So the more advanced drivers, they know like how to switch up their itinerary to where that doesn't happen to them. But as a new driver, it can be really overwhelming because you don't really understand the geofences and the addresses and things like that. So one of the biggest complaints for me was the navigation. The navigation was horrible. For instance, there was several instances where they say you're at your destination and you're sitting there like, where is it? You know? And you're looking on the map and it's like, there's nothing there. And you're looking going, what the hell? And so like, it looks like you're on it, but really you're not. Like finding certain driveways or apartments or whatever, those can be really, really, really hard. Now, it'll tell you how many packages are to be expected when you get there. So what ends up happening when you do a delivery is so like, let's say you pull up to somebody's house. You're not supposed to pull on their driveway at all. Like, that's against the rules, right? So if an Amazon driver's in your driveway, that's against the rules. You're not supposed to open up mailboxes. You're not supposed to throw packages. You're not even supposed to have the stickers visible with the names on them when they take the photo at the front door. So what they do is they are instructed to turn the car off completely, right? And if they leave the car running or on or whatever, that's against the rules as well. So you turn the car off completely. You get out of the car and you lock the door. As you're going up to the door, you're scanning your packages because you have to scan them in, and it'll tell you like, okay, this house gets 3 packages. Now, every single person has a option with Amazon to put in notes for delivery. If they say leave it under the awning on the back porch, you have to do that. If you don't do that and they find out that you didn't follow the delivery rules, you will get in huge trouble, right? So that can be super annoying for a lot of things, because surprisingly enough, a lot of people really do use that feature where they're like, you need to go in my backyard and put this here and there and everywhere. If there's an animal there, you do not have to do it, but you're unable to deliver it. And if you're unable to deliver the package, then you have to try again after your shift is over, and that can be super annoying because you just want to go home, right? So what ends up happening is you go through the delivery instructions, okay? You scan your packages and you place them down at the door, and then you photograph it. Now, if the photo is blurry or anything like that, they're going to ding you. So you take your photograph, you go back to the car, you have to unlock the door, locate the packages for the next stop, and then get in, buckle your seatbelt, and do it all over again, right? Imagine doing that 200 times a day, turning the car off, getting the packages, going up to the door, taking a picture, but then you get there and you go to take the picture and it says delivery not allowed. You can't take the picture and you cannot deliver. It will not, you have to go through a series of checks. Like, you have to hit continue before it will even allow you to deliver to the next stop, right? Well, what ends up happening is when you go to a house and you click OK and delivered, the phone marks a geofence, right? So what ends up happening is drivers being in a hurry, they end up taking the photo, putting the phone in their pocket, running to their van, and they don't hit continue until they've left the stop, which means the geofence has now moved. The geofence believes that where you hit continue at is where that house is, right? So now for the next driver who has to deliver a package to that specific house, it doesn't recognize you're at that house because the geofence has moved. So you're sitting there at their house unable to deliver their package because the dipshit before you didn't hit the geofence until he was, half a mile away or X amount of feet away. So when you look on the app, you'll see a big circle, right? And it says, you're not within the perimeters of the delivery location. And you're there. So the only way that you can deliver it, you're not allowed to move a geofence on your own. You have to call dispatch. They have to direct you to customer service, and you have to sit on hold for X amount of time. Then they move the geofence and the delivery is allowed, and then you're allowed to proceed on. Now, that takes up time, right? And the dispatch people that are back at the warehouse, the ones sitting on their ass at the warehouse, they're looking at a computer screen, and it shows how many stops you have left and where you're at. and it tells you if you're behind on schedule or if you're on time or whatever. So if you're behind on schedule, they're calling you going, what's taking so long? What's taking so long? Hurry the hell up. And it's like, dude, shit happens, you know? Like, seriously? And then they have these Amazon lockers, okay? So these lockers, you go in, like sometimes they're at like Safeways or apartment buildings or whatever. You go in and it says that, 38 packages are going to this one stop, right? So you go in and you have to scan in each freaking package individually, and you have to put them in their own locker, and you have to photograph them at the booth. Now, that's not as bad because you're getting like 30 packages done at once, right? So that's pretty cool. It's the apartment buildings that suck because you have to go up and down the stairs and all around everywhere, and you can only carry so many packages, so you have to go back to your frickin' van. Now, you would think that this isn't a big issue, but imagine you drive like 20 feet down the road, and then you turn your car off, you get out, you have to lock the door, you lock it, even if you didn't lock it, even if you didn't follow the rules on that, okay? Even so, you get out, you go up to the door, and then somebody gets to the door and they're like, hey, how are you? You have to be nice and conversate, and you're in a hurry, So what they end up doing, what they tell people is to knock after you've taken the picture because you don't want to get stuck talking to a customer. That's why you've noticed that they're in and out you rarely see the Amazon people. They're in such a hurry and are so over freaking worked. They don't take lunches. They don't take breaks because they can't afford to, You think, oh, you take lunch? No, you don't take lunch, okay? Very few people that actually work there get a lunch. And they say they do. They clock out like they do, but they work through their lunch. Almost everybody works through their lunch. And it's one of those things where it's like, imagine you have the day, so like the first 2 hours of your day is just getting the shit to get the van loaded and everything. So then you have to go and deliver all these packages all over hell and back, right? In and out of the van that many times a day is tedious. I was running, okay? I mean, like, not like, a marathon runner, but I was in a pretty damn good sprint, okay? I was quick, like with the quickness, like keys out, let's do this, like boom, And I was barely able to finish the nursery route by 2 p.m. And granted, you get to like 5 p.m. But the point is, the nursery route is only like half of your stops. So the thought of being hit with double this, I was like, are you kidding me? And then if you go really fast, like you try to impress them, they think you don't have enough work. So you think, well, the faster I go, the quicker I can leave and go home, right? No, because then they just smack you with more packages. Now, if you time it based on the amount of stops that you have, they pretty much have you at 1 to 2 minutes maximum per stop. Max. Okay? Now, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely freaking ridiculous because it takes that long to locate the packages, to turn the damn car off, turn it on, whatever. Like, I've seen some of the most athletic people hate that job. Like, they stand there and they're like, this is horrible, it's miserable. Like, it's not just drive and then deliver a package. You literally, it's every 1 second you're out of the car. So I thought, okay, I'll be driving, deliver a package, drive a little bit, deliver a package. No, it's literally like every 2 feet. It's not driving, it's more like just moving the car 2 feet and then, delivering. You're in and out of the car so many damn times, it's enough to make you want to kill yourself. Like, it's that bad. And just the repetition of getting in and out of the seat that many times, dude, it actually starts to take effect on your body. It really does. You might not think it's a big deal, because it does. I didn't think so either. I thought, oh, how hard can it be? You're getting out of the car and you're walking a freaking package to the door. No, it's not like that at all. You're running, for one. A lot of people have really steep driveways, or the icy steps, or you don't want to break your neck getting out of the van. Do you know how many people are so stressed out working for Amazon? They pee into bottles, they run stop signs, they throw packages because why not, right? Like, they've had it, they're fed up, and then they're literally running as fast as they possibly can. They're not taking lunch, they're peeing in a bottle, they're stressed to the max, and to top it off, you have to do everything yourself. You have to load the van yourself, you have to do the driving, you have to do the delivering, you have to do the technical support. You have everything that's all your responsibility. You have to inspect the van, everything. And then you have some asshole who's been sitting at the warehouse all day, munching on chips, watching the computer going, come on, faster, faster. Are you serious right now? Really? Like, dude, I was ready to quit the first day. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. The thought that this is going to get twice as bad is ridiculous. And then I think about the holidays, and I'm just like, oh, hell no. No. Like icy steps and things like that. And then they tell people, don't run. We don't want you to be hurt now. But, make sure you're taking your breaks, knowing damn well you can't, And so everybody there most people end up unable to finish their route. So you have to do a rescue. That's what it's called. So basically, once you're done with your treacherous hell, and the poor bastard that you work with can't finish his treacherous hell, they're like, well, everybody has to go and rescue so many people in a week. So, like, the company I worked for, you had to do 2 rescues a week. Now, why are you giving people so much freaking work that they even need rescued? Like, that stress is not right. Like, they know they're giving you too much work, right? So you're overworked and you're stressed out because you're not able to finish. Your coworkers are mad at you because they don't want to have to rescue you. But then it's like, they know because they've needed rescued, And so who wants to be under that kind of stress? And it's of no surprise to me why they have so many accidents, why they have so many people that quit, I mean, not many people make it very long there. And then to top it off, it's not like they make it out to be. It's not like, oh, company phone, company vehicle, all that. It's like you get the company phone for the little bit of time you're in the van, right? And then you turn it in the same day. So just when you think it's all said and done and you can just go park the van, no, that's not how it works. You have to go all the way back to the warehouse, okay? You have to deliver the bins. They're like collapsible fabric bins. You deliver the bins. They kind of look at your van a little bit, whatever. And then you go to your DSP and you turn in any packages, that you couldn't deliver that day, and check in with them and be like, okay, I'm done, whatever. And then after that, you take the van and you drive it back to the parking lot where you got it from, and you have to photograph any damages or whatever. You photograph the damages and give them the company phone at the dispatch. Then you take the keys, you drive the van to the parking garage, and then you leave the van in the parking space, drop the keys in the bin, and then you're allowed to go home, right? And then you get to start the next day all over again in the treacherous hell. That's what it's really like to work for Amazon. Now, if that's not bad enough, the navigation is horrible. Like, there were so many times where I just used my personal phone to give me directions to the address, because the advice or directions that they were giving me didn't make any sense. There was one instance with a stop that I had where it told me that I needed to get on the freeway, go 2 exits up, come down a certain highway, and then loop back around. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense because I look so close, right? And so I'm zooming in on the map, and I type it into my personal phone. And it was like, take this turn, that turn, and this turn, and you're there. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? if I was to have followed the company phone directions, it would have taken me in this ginormous loop, right? So I started thinking, like, how many times has it done this to me? So I started individually typing all of the addresses in on my personal phone, and it was giving me better, way better instructions. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, dude, this is going to take up so much extra, like, work and time for me having to type everything into my freaking phone, my own personal phone. Not to mention I'm going to be distracted on my phone. Like, why is their company shit so ridiculous? Then there was another instance where you have to go to, like, places that require a key code, right? Or like a company, like, where you have to go into the business and go all the way up to the top floor and deliver. And then you have to get a signature. Now, one of the things that we were delivering was, I believe it was like some kind of a chair or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, these boxes are freaking huge. And I look, and there's no hand truck. There's supposed to be a collapsible hand truck in the van. And so I called dispatch, and I'm like, where the hell is the hand truck? And they're like, oh, well, that's not always in there. Like, we don't provide it in every van. If you want one, you have to kind of, like, basically hope you get one kind of thing. I'm like, you expect me to pick up a freaking box? Not in one box, but there's like 6 of these. They're bigger than I am, okay? And you want me to lift it and drag it into, it was down a steep hill in Edmonds, Washington, down a steep hill into a huge ass, like, building, go up the elevator and into this room. They're like, oh, well, yeah, I guess. So I managed to get the dude that worked there to help me, right? And he's like, I can't believe they expected you to not only do this on your own, but without a hand truck. Like, what the hell are they thinking? I'm like, I don't know, dude, this is ridiculous. That was my second day. And so my third day, I had pretty much like 4 apartment complexes, and like 70 of my stops were within these apartments. So I'm up and down the stairs, back to the van, you know, going, when you go to like apartments and shit, you would think that like the house numbers would count the right, you know, way or whatever. No, they were all fucked off. I'm just like, dude, screw this. This job is out of here. And so the icing on the cake for me was one of the days that I was working, it was like, it wasn't even that hot. It was like 70, and I'm over here dying, sweating, about ready to kill myself. And dispatch is bitching and complaining. And I'm like, dude, seriously? Like, I'm looking down, I still have so many packages left to deliver. But, they're like, well, you have to do a rescue. I'm like, dude, I'm going to need a rescue, much less do one, you know? And they're like, well, today's your day to do a rescue, so I guess you're going to be working till like 7 or 8. I'm like, haha, you're lucky I don't leave this van here right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how pissed I was. And so I didn't do the rescue. I just said, fuck it. And I got the packages delivered, and I go back to dispatch, and the dude sitting there was like, holy shit, yes, it's hailing here, so you can't do that. Hang on. Anyways, so I get to the dispatch place, and I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, this is ridiculous. You're telling me it's going to get worse than this? And he's like, yeah, a lot of people quit. You're already ready to quit? I'm like, yes, I am, as a matter of fact. This is stupid. Like, it really is stupid. I'm like, you realize I've been running, right? Like, legitimately running at every single stop. I can't go any faster than this. Like, this is ridiculous, you know? And he's like, yeah, I know. Why do you think I don't want to be a driver anymore? I'm like, dude, like, you guys need to seriously figure it out. It would be better for you to lessen the amount of workload on your employees to not have so many of them quit. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, no, I agree. I'm like, then what the hell, dude? Like, somebody needs to seriously do something the fuck about this, because this is actually to the point of ridiculous. I mean, if they have that many people quitting, it's kind of an indicator that maybe you're not treating your employees correctly. So, about a week before I quit, COVID it was starting to get to the point where they were like, okay, people need to wear a mask. And one of remember I told you I had interviewed at one of them? Well, one of the places was that, I can't remember what it's called, it was like B something. And they were in trouble for telling the employees to lie about testing positive for COVID. I'm like, oh, that doesn't surprise me. Not one bit. Like, so here they are telling people to lie about testing for COVID, overworking these people, and just overall being dicks. Like, I would never work for this company. Is the pay decent? Yeah, but not for the work that you have to do. I mean, the fact that by the time it's all said and done, sure, you can work overtime, but you're so dead that you can't work overtime, if that makes sense. And they only allow you to work a certain amount of overtime. It's a very tedious job, stress-wise and physically, to the point where, I mean, even if you are physically fit, just the stress alone is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, and I forgot the part where you have to fill the van up with gas before you go to the warehouse, because you have to turn in the gas card. And, you know, I mean, you wouldn't think it's a big deal, but it's kind of annoying. You know, I'm not going to lie, it really is. Anyways, that pretty much sums up, like, what I have to say about that. Like, the whole place is a joke, don't work there. You're better off taking the couple dollars less an hour you're going to get and having an easier job somewhere else. And honestly, like, you're going to be sore. If you think you're not, you're going to be sore. It's bad. When you think about doing 200-300 squats in a day, and then, you know, just a little bit that you got to go to apartment complexes or, you know, go up and down stairs and, you know, just that kind of thing. And then on top of it, it's not like you get a break. So the way that their schedule is you get to pick, do you want to work like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or do you want to work, you know, which 4 days do you want to work? So you usually work 4 10s, and then they try to get you to do overtime. But what's more annoying is that every single morning when you start off your day, you get yelled at. It doesn't matter what anybody does, there's always something to yell at somebody for. So every single freaking day, the dispatch people are like, well, you know, we want your times to be better, we want you guys to go faster, we want you to work harder, and your driving scores need to pick up, because if you accelerate too hard, it dings you. If you brake too hard, it dings you. If you go over the 3 miles over the speed limit, it dings you. And then your overall driving score, everybody's score gets put up on a board for the company. And whatever company has the least amount of collisions and, you know, bad scores, they get a bonus at the end of the year or whatever. So when somebody's driving score is shit, then everybody's kind of looking at you like you're shit. My driving score was perfect, surprisingly, considering I wanted to drive the van through a brick wall. But, you know, just the fact that how easy it is to go a couple miles over the speed limit, or how easy it is to set off that stupid thing by accelerating too quickly. It's a joke. They pretty much are like, we're watching you 24/7. Like, you don't feel like you can do anything. Like, there was one time where I stopped to buy something to drink. I didn't even take a lunch. I didn't take any breaks. You know, I had stopped to buy something to drink. And I get a call from dispatch, like, well, we noticed you've been stopped for 3.5 minutes. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Are you serious right now? I didn't even take a lunch, okay? I haven't taken a lunch at all. No, but why haven't you taken a lunch? I'm like, none of us do. Stop acting like you don't know that. Nobody out here takes a lunch. They can't afford to take a lunch. But they're supposed to take a lunch. They tell you you have to clock out for lunch. So you clock out for lunch, but they know you're out there delivering packages. They can see it right there on their fucking computer. You know what I mean? So yeah, don't work for Amazon. I mean, it's great being the customer. I'll give you that, you know, because your shit's there within a day or two. But if they want to run something like this to where they want to offer that type of service to people, then they need to make it to where people are not overworked like that. Like, it would be so much easier if you had 2 drivers per car. Like, it really would. Like, if you had a driver and a deliverer, and then switch off half the day so that one person isn't completely physically overworked. You would have somebody to conversate with. You would have somebody to find the packages while you're driving. You know, like, it would be a lot better. They could organize shit. They could help you. Like, there's no reason whatsoever to put all that work onto one person. And if you are going to put one person per car, then make it to where there's less of a workload. Like, a nursery route should be a full route, in my opinion. You know, a full route is too much. It's way too much. And, I mean, it shows. It really shows. By how many people need work right now, the fact that 70% or whatever they said quit, it's got to show you how bad it is. You know, and if you think you can do it, then have at it. By all means, enjoy. Anyways, that pretty much concludes my review on that shit place. So, yeah, you couldn't pay me enough to do it. You could not pay me enough. There's no way I would do it again. None.